call came in that it was on their front porch. I just looked up in roll call and said, "It's done, I'll take care of it."
They were there very quickly, within 5 minutes, and an officer came up with a BB gun, and the squirrel actually ran from him. It was almost like it was taunting the officer. It never tried to actually get out of Dodge.
Squirrel ran around back, and I kind of chased it around and hid in the bushes and hid under a wood pile, and finally scurried up into a limb of a tree about 10 foot off the ground or so. And then once the squirrel got into the limb, it just sat there like daring you to do something. I shot it one time in the lower part of the neck. We're trained every day as policemen, if we have to take someone's life in the defense of ourselves or others, then we have to do that. It's not anything any of us want to do, but we will do if it came to that. This thing wasn't a threat to me. It was just, it had attacked too many people that I had to do it, and there was no choice in the matter. I was glad that it was done and no one else was going to get bit. If there's another way that we could have done it, I would have gladly done that, but there wasn't. It had to be done. It did not have rabies. They do not know what caused the squirrel to act the way that it did, but it wasn't because it had rabies.
Best guess as far as the mad squirrel of Westerville would be that it was a squirrel that was raised as a pet or had been accustomed to frequent handouts, therefore lost its fear of people, and as a result, in defense of its space, it may have bitten people. Plus, the squirrel might have been a little off its rocker.
The term used a lot in the paper was mad squirrel. Mad? I don't know what all happened to it that created it to do the things that it did. Mad? Yeah, it was mad at us, I guess, is the way to put it.
1 in 4 of us believes in love at first sight. 1 in 4 tells it like it is. And 1 in 4 of us sweats more than others. Secret Platinum Protection, the strongest form of antiperspirant you can get from Secret. pH-balanced Secret Platinum Protection.
The Old South gave us one breakfast tradition we savor to this day. An old family tradition that calls for hand-picking only the best-tasting juice oranges available anywhere. A tradition steeped in the rich, smooth, pure, freshly squeezed taste of Old South frozen concentrated orange juice. A unique taste handed down from generation to generation. A tradition we can all enjoy every morning, every day. Old South orange juice, a tradition you can trust.
This is how the story goes of Rhonda and her runny nose. Anytime a tissue neared, Rhonda's nose ran with fear. "I want more than plain tissues," Little Nose pleaded. A magical touch was all it needed. Puff's soft tissue plus moisturizing lotion joined as one. Puffs Plus, what a notion. And Little Nose ran home happily. The moral, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Coming January 8th, receive your exclusive Discovery Channel 4-month Viewer's Guide, available only through the Globe and Mail. The Viewer's Guide is your roadmap to the thrill of discovery. Fascinating feature stories and exciting programs that lead you through the marvels of our universe. Experience Eco Challenge 2000, the world's premier expedition race as athletes compete in the remote jungles of Borneo. And if that wasn't adventure enough, tackle Survival Week. True stories of those who have looked death in the face and lived to tell about it. Discovery also brings you the best in nature. Jump into the jaws of danger with the Crocodile Hunter and and walk in the footsteps of the creature that reigned supreme over the last ice age in Land of the Mammoth. Free in the Globe and Mail. Get your Discovery Channel Viewer's Guide. Available on newsstands or via home delivery. Everywhere the Globe and Mail is distributed. Start the new year with the best of Discovery. Pick up the Discovery Channel Viewer's Guide in the Globe and Mail, January 8th.
Tonight.
I remember him saying, "What was that sound?" I remember grabbing my neck thinking something just isn't right, but I was more shocked at what exactly had happened because it had come out of nowhere. I was so disoriented, I was dizzy, almost to the point where my eyes were starting to cross, and just kept getting progressively worse. I remember hearing car horns. Car horns kept beeping, and I thought, man, what the heck is going on here? I knew something was wrong, so I drove myself to the hospital.
Mr. Kelcher, I have your x-rays. These are the bones in your neck.
In the hospital, I was immediately treated for an injured neck, and I was really starting to get scared.
You may have to have surgery. We have to do further tests.
When my neck was being operated on, I was laying in the hospital, and I'm a talker. I like to talk, and the guy in the bed next to me was probably thinking, what do I have to do to shut this guy up? But in the meantime, we started talking about this bird incident, and he kept saying, aren't they gonna pay for your medical bills? I said, no, they paid for nothing. They wouldn't pay me a penny. And he had mentioned George Miller.
I came into my office one morning and my secretary had told me that an individual had called.
Hello, Mr. Miller. My name's Dave Kelcher, and I'm looking for a lawyer because a parakeet broke my neck.
In the personal injury field, of course, you get all kinds of wild stories, so I made a phone call to him. It was obvious that he had been denied compensation and that I thought that he needed legal assistance.
The birds in Walmart get loose based on what I have seen is the cage doors are always open, or at least unlatched.
Look at the birds, guys. I like these green ones.
They're accessible to children, they're accessible to any adult, but a lot of people don't realize they need to close the cages when they're finished. When they stick their hand in, the first thing the bird thinks is, I'm free, there's an opening, I'm out of here.
It was the position of Walmart that the plaintiff would have to show that this particular parakeet had a vicious propensity to attack people, that Walmart knew about that propensity and failed to do anything about it. The theory I went on was simply that if you go into a Walmart store, they have a reasonable duty to protect you and to make it a safe place to shop. In the course of later discovery in this particular case, we found out that birds were quite frequently flying around that store, that they would put food out to try to lure the birds back into the cages, and they would even use BB guns to shoot the birds because they were setting off the alarms at night. In short, you knew your birds were loose in the store, and you did nothing to stop the birds from flying around the store. So I thought I had an excellent chance of going into this case after I understood what the facts were. During the course of this trial, Mr. Kelcher, in telling his version of the accident to the jury, also had to explain his injuries and the disabilities he had from those injuries.
David, when you get home in the evenings, do you have any special problems?
Just my neck. Well, my headaches in my neck. Can I lead into greeting my daughter now?
I will get to that. Do you have a child?
Yes, I do.
Does the fact that you have this neck problem cause you any difficulties with respect to your child?
That's a real touchy subject. My daughter likes to hug me real tight around the neck. Well, you can expect that from a little 5-year-old. Amanda, Daddy's home.
Daddy!
When I come home from work, she hugs me around the neck and she squeezes me real tight. And it hurts. And so I push her away and she squeezes even tighter, and we go back and forth and we end up getting upset with each other. My wife comes in and she breaks us up because I can't feel the hug around my daughter around my neck. So then everybody's yelling at each other, and what do you do? So she's just learned to hug me around my legs. That's all I get, around the legs. And I never got the feel of my daughter's arms around my neck for a long time. That was the worst part of the whole thing. I lost, and I lost big. Paid me $2 million, I couldn't care less. But that hug around the neck,
When the jury returned its verdict, it awarded Mr. Kelcher $80,000 for compensation for the injuries he sustained as well as his medical bills. If Walmart learned a lesson, it learned the lesson that it shouldn't sell parakeets unless, of course, they were willing to expend the monies for the proper facilities for taking care of pets. I think they learned their lesson, and I don't believe they sell parakeets anymore. To those that would claim that this was a ridiculous case, I can only say, if it happened to you, you'd call an attorney.
what is there left in life but to have your little one hug you around the neck? Look at her. Wouldn't you want that around your neck?
Hey, you got friends and family. Well, I'm sure you do. And I'll bet they don't all live in the same place, though, do they? So you got a long-distance plan, right? But you're being forced to choose between your friend in the UK, like Sheila here. No offense, Sheila. Or your Uncle Dave back in BC. Hey, Uncle Dave! Sorry. Listen, you're saving money in long distance, but in this case, only on overseas calls. What about Greg in the States? It's like you're sacrificing two of the people you want to talk to for one. So now, hey man, hold this. You just call that number, 1-800-THE-MOST for Spring Canada's Oneplan, and get great rates on all your long distance calls to Canada, the U.S., and overseas. To Canada, get rates as low as 7 cents, even less in some places. To the U.S., 12 cents. To the U.K., 12 cents. Hong Kong, 9 cents. And the countries and the savings go on and on. Only with Spring Canada's Oneplan. Let's go. So don't sacrifice friends, family, or savings. Call 1-800-THE-MOST for Spring Canada's Oneplan.
True beauty. It's all in how I apply myself.
Olay All-Day Moisture Stick Foundation. It hydrates better. Just twist anywhere, anytime for a cooling hydration sensation.
It's the little things you do that truly make you beautiful.
Tonight on Discovery Channel, fishermen battle a violent weather exchange. Lost, alone in the rage of the storm of the century. Battening down the hatches in the outback, the path of destruction. Until you've been there, you won't believe the power. Storm warning. Tonight, only on Discovery Channel. Fridays, your night to explore. Stories from around the world and around the corner. A colony of the damned. Experience the hellish life of the convict on Devil's Island. Then, the high Arctic and the world's largest uninhabited island. The next step to another planet. Canadian Geographic presents Mars on Earth. Explore your world and your own backyard. Coming in January, only on Discovery Channel.
Hey. Time's up. Would someone please tell Mr. Taylor what he should have taken before coming here today?
Benylyn First Defense, sir.
Why?
Because it sounds like he's getting a cold.
And?
First Defense is the only Benylyn formula specifically designed
To relieve early cold symptoms.
Such as?
Scratchy throat, stuffed nose, and...
Benylyn First Defense. Your first defense at the first signs of a cold.
I suggest you reread the chapters on airborne diseases.
Lovable, charming, precious. It's all a survival tactic. Behind every face is a personality. Wild discovery.
Washington County to 900. There's been an accidental shooting, Rainbow Springs Road, approximately 5 miles out from Potosi. Can you respond?
900 Washington County, I'm Ken. Well, I was notified of an accidental shooting which happened approximately 5 miles east of here. Upon my arrival, Mr. Lands was lying by the rear of the car and his son was there. What we got here?
He's been shot.
Okay, the ambulance is on its way, Larry. Hang in there. I conducted my investigation, checked in the trunk. It wasn't too hard to determine there was more to this accidental shooting than met the eye. You know, I'm gonna have to take you down to the station so you can answer some questions.
Down to the station?
Yeah. We brought Larry's boy, Jay, in for questioning. After a few stories, he finally told basically what had happened.
This type of area is hilly, rolling country, quite steep. Heavily wooded country like this is a prime type of habitat for the wild turkey. The eastern wild turkey is one of the most sought-after game animals because of its secretive habits and its elusiveness, and it makes it one of the harder game animals to hunt. They've lived here for millions of years, I guess, and they know how to survive in the woods by being basically invisible.
Me and my dad, we went mushroom hunting. It was a pretty nice morning, you know, cool. My dad dropped me off, and he went on up the road a little ways. I was supposed to meet him. I like to bring my gun along, you know. I went ahead and brought my gun. It was getting close to turkey season. I'd been practicing with my collar. And I heard this turkey gobbling. So I got down and hid myself a little bit. I got out my collar.
The hen call is attracting the male bird to come in for mating purposes. He will display and strut, make a lot of different noises, and he's looking for hen. Copying that hen noise is a learned art. It takes several years to get good at this.
When he was coming up there, you know, and I knew he was right close, it was just, I don't know, it's just hard to explain. It's just exciting. You know, like catching a big bass or just anything like that. And he came right in. He just came right to me. So I shot him. My dad had heard me shooting, and he came back down the road. And when he got there, I threw the turkey inside and the gun at the same time. I was excited. The only bad thing about it was it was out of season, you know.
Any type of wildlife violation, particularly hunting out of season, we call poaching. Mr. Lands has been known to violate game laws in the past. He's more or less a habitual violator. He's received tickets on numerous occasions in several counties in Missouri.
It was still like a rush. We were driving along, we heard the turkey flopping inside. He was making thumping and carrying on, you know. He was still alive.
I don't know if anybody's ever killed chickens or anything like that. You cut their head off. I mean, they may flop around for 5 minutes, you know, before they actually die. Well, the turkey is the same way.
It was just a thumping, beating sound, you know, it sounded awful. So we pulled over and we got out to finish off the turkey. And I opened the trunk and kind of peeked in, you know, and I seen him looking back at me.
And when the trunk come up, the turkey was so strong a beating, you know, and that trunk come up, I reached over like this here to shut the trunk down. I remember that shotgun being there then, wow, done blew my leg off.
When they had shot this turkey, they had a semi-automatic shotgun. When you discharge a semi-automatic weapon, it throws the spent cartridge out and automatically injects another one into the chamber. By them poaching the turkey, they're not going to hang around the area too fast, so they threw the shotgun in the back of the car. They did not apply the safety, and of course, when they shot the turkey, it automatically chambered around. So somehow or another, the turkey thrusting around got his foot into the trigger housing of the shotgun. It went off. As Larry Sr.'s coming by the driver's side of the vehicle, striking him in the left leg.
Turkeys are dangerous, you know. A lot more people get killed turkey hunting, I believe, than probably any other kind of hunt.
You know, when you're doing the illegal stuff, sometimes, you know, the good Lord works in mysterious ways.
I still got probably 100 shot in my leg. A steel pin from my knee up to my hip. Went in that right here. Come out right over here. Part of it. Right here, went in, part of it come over here.
Conservation agent in Washington County has the primary responsibility in enforcing all the game laws. As I arrived on the scene where the accident had happened, there was a vehicle there with a hole in the side of it, and the blood and feathers from a turkey as well as the blood of the victim. We seized that turkey as evidence of the violation, and it was donated then to a needy individual family. I wrote Mr. Lands a ticket for taking turkey in closed season. They went to the court in Washington County.
Oh, yeah, I had to pay a $300 fine, something like that, $350, and spend 5 days in jail for something I didn't even do. You know, I didn't even kill the turkey, my son did, but he's juvenile, they couldn't do nothing to him, so they had to get somebody. Put me in jail there for 5 days, me on crutches. Suspended sentence has been good enough, you know. Hell, I've been shot and stuff.
The fact that he was shot has, after the fact, has little bearing on the fact they were violating the law in the first place.
I even admitted to the judge and everything that I did it, that I'd killed the turkey, and they wanted to get him.
They've been after me ever since I was 16 years old. You ever get one ticket, they'll never forget it.
If he has any problems with, he could easily cure it by quit violating the law.
That's the law. That's the way they work. If they don't like it, they can kiss my ass. That's just what I think about it. But they had pictures in the paper and little drawings and stuff with turkeys packing guns and stuff. It's fun and jokes, you know, it's all right. It was kind of funny the way it happened, but it wasn't too much fun to me. Can't walk and get around and hunt like I used to, so just about quit it. Turkeys around me, won't be able to hunt no more.
A janitor invented the Hoover using a fan and a pillowcase. If you have an invention, call 1-800-996-IDEA for free inventors information. That's 1-800-996-IDEA. And market it before someone else does.
32, 33, 34, 45, 46, 47, 450, 451, 452.
Cold symptoms keeping you awake?
What?
Get NyQuil. The nighttime sniffling, sneezing, coughing, aching, stuffy head fever so you can get the relief to sleep and feel better medicine.
Little rabbit flew through hopping.
Monday on Discovery Channel. Join the people who care for the natural world on Champions of the Wild. Then, explore our country's grand waterways on Great Canadian Rivers. Monday, following Wild Discovery, only on Discovery Channel.
A young lawyer dreams of becoming a courtroom god.
I might have been wrong about that.
For him, it's about integrity.
We weren't getting all the facts. Elliot told us the facts.
Until reality bites.
This is my case.
You're here to carry the bags.
Jonah Gleason, Meet the Bar. The Associates premieres January 16th on CTV. Brought to you by Cadillac, the fusion of design and technology.
There's more to crispy flavor in our bite-sized taters.
It's time you tried McCain Tasty Taters. Baked so they're crispy and golden brown on the outside to capture all that tender potato flavor inside.
Crispy bite-sized taters that lock in all the flavor.
Mealtime, snack time, anytime. McCain Tasty Taters now come in 5 crispy bite-sized flavors.
Try your favorite flavor in our bite-sized taters.
McCain Tasty Taters. Crispy flavor in a bite-sized tater.
Log on to Discovery Channel's website, exn.ca. Interactive, informative, and fun. Enhance the experience. Discovery Channel's exn.ca.
It's a quiet neighborhood. It's a family-type neighborhood. You seldom ever see a police car around you. It's a neighborhood where you want to raise a family. Well, as long as I've lived here, I've never had anyone I didn't like.
And a lot of my neighbors told me when I moved in, they're like, oh, you got a band? Well, we like our rock and roll loud around here. So everything's been pretty cool. My name's Angus Johnson, and I moved out here to make it with my band. Yeah, I thought Hollywood was the place to be, and it's not. The music scene is not what I thought it was. You have to pay to play. A lot of musicians out here are real flakes. I've got some real good guys in my band now, and hope we'll be out playing real soon. And then go on the road, that's what I really want to do. I'm the owner of Alice. Alice is a 9-foot Colombian red-tailed boa. I rescued her from squalor and starvation in 1990. A friend of mine had got her, and in his words, he said the novelty of having a snake wore off. Poor Alice was in her cage, and it was filled up with her own excrement and rainwater, and she was almost drowning in there. I said to my friend, I said, give her to me, I'll love her. And I washed her off and brought her home, and I told her that, this would never happen to her again, and talked to her, and she curled up, and I slept on her for a pillow the first night I had her. Ever since then, we've been inseparable. My band's called Constrictor, which Alice is a very integral part of. I've written many songs about her. In order to perform the songs, she's got to be there. You wouldn't even understand the lyrics unless you saw her slithering across my face.
After my husband had passed away, this house got pretty darn lonely and quiet. But with Babette, she livened things up considerably. She just loved people and was outgoing and absolutely gorgeously beautiful. They thought for almost a year I had cancer till they found out that I had this rare arthritic thing. My doctor, as far as he's concerned, Babette did as much to save my life as the medication did.
I had gone through a lot of trials and tribulations of life. I lost my fiance and lost all my equipment, lost my car, got my house broke into. And last summer, doctors thought I had a brain tumor. So I have nerve damage in my ear. And whenever I'd come home, Alice was always there to love me. And vice versa.
When she'd sit in my lap, I'd brush her and comb her. She never had any tangles. Never.
She's really soft, feels real silky. She's a great pillow.
She slept with me, right up against my back. Every night I could feel it there.
I'd turn the stereo on or turn my guitar on, and she would come out to say hello. It's like a little dog. She has a better personality than most humans I've met. The first week in August, we were having a horrendous heat wave, and our air conditioner was broke. It was like 108 degrees outside, and it was honestly like between 120 and 130 degrees in here. It was unbearable. So I opened up the door for like 10 minutes, and I was getting ready for bed. And I turned around, and she was gone. And I was like, no way. I ran outside and looked with a flashlight. And usually she moves real slow. So then we searched the whole neighborhood. Alice. You know, I went house to house, knocking on doors, asking permission to search their yard. And I really expected to find her.
Babette and I got up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I always carried her from the bed to the kitchen, where I'd put her down and I would start my coffee pot. And I noticed Babette did not go through her doggy door. She put her paws up there, but she hesitated. And I stopped what I was doing and was watching her because I couldn't figure out why she didn't go through her doggy door like she always did. But I still had no inclination there was anything wrong. She screamed. She didn't bark. She screamed. I stepped over in time to see the snake wrapped around her, squeezing her. I knew I had to document it to prove it had happened because I was here alone. And it was just an accident. I had the camera where I had it. I had seen Babette out by the petunia bed smelling the flowers. I had decided that I'd load the camera, put it right there, and watch the next morning to see if I could catch a picture of her smelling the petunias, because it was so adorable. And of course, she never got out to smell the petunias. First one here shows the snake has got Babette and is squeezing her. The next one is another shot of the way the snake was swallowing her. This one is actually should have been before that other one with the snake still squeezing her. And again, the snake was swallowing her. We called animal regulations right away. They was taking it out to put it in their vehicle, and you could see the bulge of Babette. And that's when it really got hard. And I knew I'd never see her again.
I was totally devastated by that. You know, 'cause I love all animals. You know, it was a tragic accident, and I didn't know what to do. One of the officers told me that it was probably because of the intense heat. It disrupted her biorhythms or something, like, you know, accelerated her feeding pattern or something, because she wasn't due to eat for another week and a half. I guess, you know, the little dog jumped right on top of her, and right out the little doggy door, and I think Alice was curled up outside. You know, I would have said, there's no way Alice will ever eat a dog. But I didn't know there were dogs, you know, smaller than the rats I fed her.
Naturally, I blame the owner. He's using the excuse, well, its appetite accelerated because of the heat. I think he didn't have the money to buy the rats, and he let the snake out, hoping he'd get a squirrel or something, and instead he got my dog.
And all I wanted to do was apologize to Jackie, make restitution, and get Alice back. And like the media just like totally blew it out of control.
The boa constrictor came over and ate this woman's pet dog.
Johnson didn't have a permit to legally own his
Sorry
snake,
that snake
Alice.
ate a chihuahua last weekend, but he wants his pet returned.
Me and Alice are being labeled as monsters. So I called one of the news stations and I had them come out here, you know, so I could tell my side of the story and do everything in my power to get Alice back.
We'll do whatever we have to defend Angus, number one, and number two, we think Angus should get his snake back.
He has sought a lot of publicity to try to get money. He's not like the people that live in this type of neighborhood. He plays in some kind of a band. And he has done things on the stage with that snake.
I had a bunch of friends in bands and stuff that we're going to do a benefit concert to raise the money to buy her a new dog. And she said that she would not accept any money from him. She wouldn't even accept my phone calls anymore.
I totally ignore him. Like he doesn't exist.
I sent her flowers and a card, and I know that nothing I do is going to bring her dog back. Come here, give Dad a kiss. I understand Jackie's loss because, I know how attached I am to Alice. I'm sure she was just as attached to Babette. And I still feel bad about it, and I still wish someday she would find it in her heart to forgive me. But that day's not here yet, so.
You're a good snake, Alice. You didn't know that little dog was not supposed to be food. You're just doing what come natural. No more dogs.
As far as forgiving, I'm sorry, I can't. Babette is gone. She has been taken away from me. I cannot forget Babette. There's an emptiness and a pain there. And I can't forgive the person who was the cause of it.